Hello everyone, I am Dr. Priyanka Madia and today I am considering Module 8. Module 8 talks about linkages between economic inequality and conflict. In the present module, I am commencing discussion on Unit 3 that relates to social policies for inclusive growth and peace. Before discussing this topic, I would like to discuss the course outlines which are as follows. Number 1, to define and comprehend the concept of inclusive growth. To explain the definition of inclusive growth by OECD, to explain the rationale for inclusive growth, to elaborate the relationship between inclusive growth and peace, then to suggest the social policy framework for inclusive growth and peace. Now, at first, I'm discussing the concept of inclusive growth. Inclusive growth refers to a model of growth that considers the growth of all the individuals in a society. The main aim of inclusive growth is to reduce the disparities of income, ensure balanced regional growth, and ensuring access to resources and opportunities. It also aims to create an environment where marginalized and vulnerable groups that have somehow been excluded are considered. They can also benefit from the economic system. Now, I am discussing the concept of inclusive growth as discussed by OECD. OECD considers inclusive growth as economic growth that is distributed fairly across society and creates opportunities for all. Thus, the concept of inclusive growth tries to consider the creation of equal opportunities for all. This can be done by promoting equal access to education, healthcare, employment. And now I want to tell you why at all inclusive growth is required, and is there any relationship between inclusive growth and peace. Let us first understand the rationale of inclusive growth. It means why at all inclusive growth is required. Number 1 is promotion of fair opportunities. Inclusive growth guarantees that every individual in the society, they have the access to opportunities irrespective of their socio-economic status. It means that it is not influenced by the caste, religion and occupation. Inclusive growth is also required in order to narrow down the gap between wealthy and the impoverished. The purpose is to ensure equitable distribution of wealth, assets, and resources, and in a way to foster social cohesion. Now, inclusive growth is also required in order to create a safety net for the community and the society. Again, do you really think inclusive growth is required? And the answer to that question is yes. Why? Because it facilitates the economic empowerment of women through equal participation and opportunities in various sectors. Lastly, it is also required in order to promote the rural development by bridging the gap between rural and urban areas. Now, at first, I will explain the relationship between inclusive growth and peace. And then I would discuss the social policies for inclusive growth and peace. Relationship between inclusive growth and peace. The concept of inclusive growth emphasizes the consideration of all the sections of the society, irrespective of gender, age, caste, occupation, income status, and etc. It directly addresses the issues of income inequalities by considering all the sections of the society. It means that in case of inclusive growth, the growth of all the sections of society are considered. And yes, if all these sections of societies are considered, then it helps in building up congenial relationships both within and among the nations. Thus, I want to say that as far as the relationship between inclusive growth and peace is concerned, there prevails a direct relationship. It means that more the promotion of inclusive growth, more peace would be restored. And it means that there is a clear possibility that in case the economies are believing in the peaceful relationships, the trade is likely to flourish and the peaceful relationships are likely to be there. Now, the social policies for inclusive growth and peace. The social policies refers to the sequence of steps by which the governments take decisions in order to address the issues of economies and try to improve socio-economic conditions of the masses. It clearly reveals that the government's intervention is required in order to ensure inclusive growth, which is likely to promote social cohesion and thereby mitigating the possibility of conflicts and war. It thus helps in promotion of peace. Now, The social policy framework that aims at inclusive growth and henceforth peace is as follows. Education accessibility, ensuring access to education and that also quality education for all the segments of society is important. The benefits of education must be percolated to the marginalized groups and those in conflict affected situations or areas. This can involve measures such as improving school infrastructure, availability of adequate teachers in proportion to students, committed teachers, implementing inclusive curricula, and providing scholarships to the students in order to encourage them for future ventures. This would help in creating a congenial environment which would further foster peace via inclusive growth. The next one is social security programs. Implementing comprehensive social security programs would also help in promotion of inclusive environment and thereby peace. There are programs such as provision of employment benefits, disability assistance, widow pension, old age pension. All these are required in order to provide a safety net for vulnerable populations and to reduce the inequality. These programs would create a sense of belongingness among these sections of the society. This will create a positive impact on the mental state of these people and the people who are associated with them. This will also promote the social stability and promote social cohesion and would pave way for peace. The next is employment opportunities for youth. Restoration of peace requires that sense of togetherness must be promoted among the masses. This requires the participation of youth as well. In this case, if the youth is provided ample opportunities, then they would be able to create a positive work environment, and they are also likely to be fascinated. There is a probability that they will be less fascinated by the terrorist or antisocial activities. This calls for targeted job training programs at educational institutions level. It also requires affirmative action policies also. These youth may also be geared up for engagement in entrepreneurial small scale businesses which will fetch them money. Hence, their engagement would be positively channelized and their energies would be positively channelized and they would be an asset for the economy. This is because they are contributive positively to the revenue of the economy, and being focused on their work, they would be helping in creation of amicable environment and thus promoting peace in any economy. Gender equality is also one of the issues. The policy should also aim at promotion of gender equalities, which help in securing women participation in decision-making processes. These policies include ensuring equal access to education, economic opportunities, and ensuring same pay scale as their male counterparts. This would foster a sense of inclusion in economic sense. This would promote a socially responsible behavior, and as a result, peace is likely to prevail. Promotion of agriculture. Persistent efforts must be made in order to promote the welfare of these small farmers. These efforts include the provision of funds to small farmers for purchasing seeds, tools, equipments, manures, fertilizers, pesticides at reasonable rate of interest. This would help in creating a sense of self-worth among the farmers, and this will also help in reducing the cases of farmer suicides, which is quite rampant in many economies. And it leads to conflict and unrest also in those economies. The next one is the emphasis on promotion of tiny, cottage and small industries. Now, there are many people in many economies who can manage small businesses, and if they receive support from the government, they can do wonders. Hence, the social policies that cover such people under their umbrella so that they feel financially and socially secure must be promoted. These people would thus be inspired in order to contribute to the economy and thus will be socially responsible citizens. Such citizens are an asset for the economy, and thus the ripples of peace would spill over their economy. The next one is strengthening blue economy. coastal areas are home to about 40% of world's population, and over 3 billion people rely on oceans for their livelihood. In addition, the oceans, seas, and coastal areas contribute significantly, they contribute significantly for eradication of poverty. Blue economy has a most crucial role to play in removal of poverty in recent years, and it is also linked to sustainable development goal 14, which aims to conserve and sustain the use of oceans, seas, and marine resources. This concept was emphasized at UN's conference in 2012 as well, where it was emphasized that sustainable management of health of marine ecosystems must be ensured. Now, blue economy. What is blue economy? Blue economy means an economic system that aims at sustainable use and management of ocean resources. It encompasses activities such as fishery, shipping, renewable energy, tourism, coastal development, etc. In case efforts are made in order to promote the blue economy, then the people who are dependent on auxiliary activities, they would get occupations and they are likely to generate money out of these occupations. This will promote social cohesion among the people and would help in promoting peace. This is not my opinion. This is the opinion which was mentioned in Compendium on Blue Economy 2023. Now, in this direction, cultural diversity and inclusion is also one of the initiatives. As far as cultural exchange program, in this the cultural exchange programs and promotion of local languages and traditions is imperative. In addition, efforts must be made in order to create a congenial environment where discrimination based on ethnicity, religion, or culture must be avoided. Human rights protection is also important. Concerted efforts must be made in order to uphold human rights. If human rights such as right to equality, dignity, non-discrimination are considered, then conducive environment would be created and peace would be restored. In nutshell, by including these elements into social policies, governments and policy makers, they can work out towards fostering inclusive growth practices and would help in restoration of peace. This would create an environment where all the sections of the economies feel connected with each other together, and they together can contribute to the peaceful and prosperous nations, which would actually elevate the levels of all the societies. So with this discussion, I want to wind up this module, and I would like to again emphasize that yes, in case we are taking in our ambit, in our umbrella, every person of the society, including maybe men or women, differently abled, the people and the youth, particularly, if we take all these people in a single umbrella, and if all of them they join hands together, then the inclusive growth is likely to is likely to sustain in any economy. And hence, in case, again I want to emphasize that in case in any economy inclusive growth is emphasized, the peace, because the people have more sense of belongingness, they have more sense of social cohesion. Ultimately, in such a congenial environment, peace is likely to be restored. Thank you so much for your patient attention. Thank you once again.